Welcome to the Spiritual White Belt podcast today. Man, I'm pumped. We got Christos Giagos. Is that how you pronounce your name?
It's actually pronounced Giagos.
Giagos.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah.
Perfect.
So, but it's all right. It's in America, people say gyro, and it's supposed to be gyro, but
gyro,
nobody knows. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's Greek, right?
Yes. I'm 100% Greek.
Got it. And tell us about your upbringing.
So my mom and dad, they both came down here from Greece, but they met in Los Angeles. My dad didn't want to join the army, so he left when he was like 17 years old, came to America, and my mom came down when she was like 25. My mom was from like a village in Greece, and that's how our house grew when we grew up. It seemed like a village, but they met, and then they had us, and they wanted us to they wanted to groom us to be more American, so we didn't really learn much Greek growing up, but I grew up with like 20 dogs, cats,
Wow.
birds. We had a pig at one point. And then, my mom has roommates. She has people renting rooms and stuff. So our house was like a zoo all the time. And her house is still like that today. But I moved out when I was 18 because it's a little too chaotic for me. But I love my parents. They did what they could to support us. And and then when I was the age of like 17, they opened up their own restaurant. My dad mainly, and that's where I was working, as well as fighting at the time when I first started fighting.
So you started young then.
Yeah, I played football my childhood and in high school. And then my senior year, football was taking up so much time, and I wanted to hang out with girls and stuff and not be so strapped down to a sport in the summers. So I needed to change my sixth period. So I quit football and ended up joining the wrestling team because I had a friend that was on the wrestling team. And I ended up just picking it up pretty quick, and I understood it and I liked it. I ended up getting the MVP in my school. And then couple friends of mine, one day after we graduated, we broke into the wrestling room and we had like a UFC fight night after watching Chuck Liddell and Vanderlei Silva go at it. And we were like, we should have a fight night. So we did that, like a little fight club, and I ended up knocking one of my buddies out who had 100 pounds on me, and I kind of just fell in love. It's a weird way to fall in love with it, but it just the primal feeling that I felt, it was cool. It was an awkward ride home, but it was cool. And then I joined the gym, and first day I got triangle choked after I thought I was winning the round. And I was like, what? You can like choke people out with your legs? And I just kind of, fell in love with the sport, and then I started fighting a year after I started training in martial arts. So I had my first fight when I was 20 years old, professional.
Oh, wow. That's quick, man.
Yeah. I moved fast, but I was an athlete, and I picked up the body mechanics of everything pretty quick, and just fell in love with the sport.
And when you were growing up, your parents, Greek, were they religious at all? Did they take you to church at all, or did they talk about God at all?
Yes, yeah. My mom was really big into God and doing things God's ways. And when I would always like talk back and like yell at my mom as a kid, she would tell me that the devil's taking control over me. And when I was young, I had a good relationship with God. I always if I was by myself, I was always talking to God. I was always talking. We had a good relationship. I was 100% a believer when I was young, and but as I got older, and pretty much as I got older, I started falling off, and was very unsure if God was real. If I always thought there was some type of higher power, but I just didn't know. You know what I mean? Because I was unsure. All the science about things and people growing up and evolution, all this stuff. It was just like a lot of it seemed like God does not exist because of the science. You know what I mean? And then so
what was it that you're hearing science in the school? Is this what makes you question? I'm trying to
It was
pinpoint
more
that
like
down?
so like evolution, saying we came from monkeys or amoeba fish, and, and the Bible talks about how God created humans, and then if we came from monkeys, it kind of disproves it a little bit. And
Right.
then the fact that like we're on a planet and there's can be possibly other planets with other life. Is God the God of all life, or is he the God of all? It was just like it was a lot of confusion, a lot of the unknown, a lot of answers, a lot of questions I had that I didn't have answers for, and it just kind of pulled me away from God.
And how long did that go? Like when you're pulled away, if you will?
Probably like around around eighth grade, up until about 4 years ago.
Oh, wow. And what happened to change?
So, it's a wild story. Um, I'm big. I'm really big into like listening to research that nobody wants to do. Like I like to go against the mainstream narrative, and I was really big into conspiracies, and I was for a long time. Ever since 9/11. Like when I was a kid, I always was just it intrigued me. Finding out information that people didn't want to look for themselves. And I had some friends that were also conspiracy theorists, and I had a friend trying to tell me that the earth was flat, and I thought he was crazy. I was a big fan of Elon Musk, and I was like, yo, he tried to tell me that space is fake, all this stuff, and I was like, Elon Musk just sent a Tesla to space. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you're crazy, you're crazy. And then I was like, let me see, and I started to do some research on YouTube, and I found nothing that was convincing. I was like, this is the stupidest conspiracy ever. I shut it out for a couple of years, and this is like probably 7, 8 years ago. And then I moved to Florida, and then I met another friend, and he sent me this documentary on the flat earth. I was like, all right, I'm gonna give it another try. Now this documentary pretty much broke down everything. It showed all the facts, all the real research, and it even says in the documentary that like if you try to find anything on YouTube, you're not gonna find it. The algorithms, it's hard to find good videos if you search for yourself on YouTube.
And what's
Yeah,
the
anyway,
name of this?
it's called Level Up. There's three of them now, but I just watched the
Okay.
first one, and it made so much sense. And I mean, obviously, so many people think the moon landing is fake, but that all ties into it. And anyway, whether people want to believe me or not, I know it sounds crazy, but I could sit here for hours and talk about each point. Like any question somebody has, I have an answer for. And but anyway, I'm not trying to convince nobody. I saw the documentary, and then this just went. My mind went, whoa. And then I went to my wife that night, and I told her, and I was like, God is real, God is the way, and it just like everything clicked, and then like it made the Bible seem so much more real. Everything in the Bible, I started doing a lot of research on things in the Bible that become true, and it just
Like
and then
what?
like how they found Noah's boat in like somewhere by Turkey and stuff. How you can look at like the Red Sea where they found chariots in the ground, and like bones of like animals. The rock that's split by Moses. There's a place where like there's a split big old rock, and then all on the floor there's like erosions, like only in the path of where the water would be flowing from, and not outside. So it just started getting me closer and closer to like the Bible and God, and we started going to church. Me and my wife started going to church a lot more, and we pray a lot. We started reading the Bible, yeah, and we still do it to this day.
Wow,
And
that's
now
amazing. So
really weird.
it's if I'm hearing you correctly, then so you watch this documentary on the flat Earth, but it strikes just something in you, like God is real, and this turned it all around for you.
Because I was so unsure, because of like space was my biggest thing, thinking aliens are real, and all this like all it was just weird to like listen to the Bible and then have to deal with like the whole space thing. And then flat Earth pretty much disproves space. Like it's not real. Like it says in Genesis 1, when God created the earth, he put a firmament between to divide the waters from waters. And then they show you pictures of like stars. And if you look through a real telescope, not the ones they show you on the internet, the CGI stuff, if you really look through a telescope and look at the stars, it looks like this wavy little thing, like some type of thing in water. But that's not nothing to like proof or anything. It's just a little example, and it just kind of shows the firmament that's divided the waters from the waters. And if you look at the old Bible, just like if you type in Chat GBT, how does the Bible describe the earth? It'll show you a flat earth with a dome, with the stars that are fixed in the firmament. The firmament divide the waters from the waters. And if you think about it, if we're flying through space, right? Why do we see the same stars every single year for thousands of years? Why don't we see any new stars? You know what I mean? And then Nikola Tesla even said it himself that the stars are fixed in the firmament. And I just think now it shows that like NASA is very like the government in general is very evil. It goes all the way up to as high as it goes up, and the people that are in the charge right now, I think there's people above them that are controlling the strings. And yeah, I sound crazy. I know, I get it, but
Well,
just a lot of research.
you're talking about the deep state.
The deep state, but I think it goes even higher than the deep state. Like
Oh,
yeah.
so
I mean,
tell me about that.
I mean, just like the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, the people who are not seen, you don't see them. I guess you're right, the deep state, but they all worship Baal or Satan or whatever it is, and yeah, I think they have that much evil there. I'm sure they're. I truly believe there's a good side of things, and that's why I just got so much closer to God. And then seeing all the other stuff is just like the deep state and like the Epstein files and all the stuff that's just happening. It just like makes me want to get closer and closer to God. But
Yeah, so
like, sorry for going on a little thing. Yes, I watched the Flat Earth documentary, and then it just to me it made creation real to me. Like God created the earth, and He created us, and then just with all the proofs from the Bible to the flat Earth stuff, like a lot of the evidence, you can find some of the stuff in the Bible. So it's pretty cool, and yeah, it just made the Bible like the true history book of our time.
so if I'm hearing you correctly, watching this documentary kind of sent you down this rabbit hole again, down God. It kind of brought you closer to God.
Yes. Yes. And yeah, it just made creation sound so real. And I always was iffy about evolution, and then it just now makes me believe that the people that are in charge of our school system, in charge of the deep state, pretty much they're trying, in my opinion, to pull people away from God with science, with evolution, which is a big hoax. With if they get people believing in and I know you don't believe in stuff, but if people believe in space and aliens and this and that, then they're gonna question religion, they're gonna question God, and that's what I kind of believe. But yeah.
Well, the deep state for sure is real. I mean, even if you're not a so-called conspiracy theorist, I don't see how you couldn't like see the truth. I mean, everything that everything the so-called conspiracy theorists have been saying for years, it's pretty much all come true. I mean, you look at Alex Jones saying, there's a satanic pedophile cult of the elites, and everybody's like, man, this guy is crazy. And it's like, oh no, it's all true. It's all true. And if that one's true, it's like, how many of the others are true? Probably quite a few.
Yeah, I mean they're coming more and more true. I mean, like just ever since COVID, um, the masses have been so divided onto like just fighting each other on who's good, who's bad, and in my opinion, anybody in power is not good. In my opinion, you know what I mean. I used to be all for Trump, and I still think like he's the better option. And like I'm not like I think he's funny, and I like what he does for the people, but some things are making me think that like they got his hand, they got their hands in his pocket, and at the end of the day, he's all part of it. And yeah, I think any type of world leader is not good.
Well, the people that want to have power over other people, this is to me, this is a warning sign.
Yeah,
I guess, but you got to admit he's so funny. I mean, the
he is
guy
funny.
he could have been
cracks
he
me
could have
up.
been like a stand up comedian, very successful stand up comedian if
Yeah,
that's what he
yeah,
wanted.
yeah, 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 yeah. No, he's funny. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I still watch like videos and I still hear and I still have some type of hope, but most of my hope and faith just come with the Lord, you know, is with the Lord, and that that's why I spend my time giving my faith and hope to.
Right, and then when you were being brought up, you were brought up Greek Orthodox.
Greek Orthodox, yeah, that's how I was baptized, Greek Orthodox. But after the documentary and I started getting back into my relationship with God, me and my wife both got baptized as Christians at our church. That's where we live by over here. So yeah, and then that's when I had my whole new journey kind of started.
Got it. And how is that different? So Greek Orthodox, because I'm not too familiar with that versus I guess just regular. What is it? Protestant or Christians?
Pretty much the same. Orthodox is pretty much Christian, but just in a different culture. It's Orthodox Christian. That's what it is. The same with like the Russians, Russian Orthodox, Greek Orthodox, Coptic, or like the Egyptians. They're all very similar in the faith. And then they just the Americanized version is Christianity, but they're very similar, very very same.
Okay. Yeah, my wife and I just got back from Turkey, and
Oh,
there used to be a lot of like Greek Orthodox churches there. They basically ran those people out of there. There's still a
wow.
couple of Greek Orthodox churches. And there's an energy in those churches. It's just like I don't know how to explain it. It's real. It's real. Um, but yeah, man, they they ran them all out of there. It's basically all Islamic now.
Yeah, that's
But
wild.
the so your beliefs now have changed. How so?
No, my beliefs, basically, I believe God is real. I believe Jesus, you know, died on the cross for our sins. I believe that um, the Bible is our history book, and the Bible is real. There's a lot of good information in the Bible. And I'm still reading it. There's still a lot I got to read, and I just believe people when you find it was weird because like I always had a feeling inside of me that something's missing, and then once I got that relationship, once that click happened, that feeling kind of went away for the most part, and I felt like complete. You know, it was pretty surreal feeling, and I think people should be good. But well, I think it starts off with people need to learn how to love themselves because how can you love other people if you can't even love yourself? You know, and I think that's a big thing because when people start like wanting people to do bad or like wishing ill intent on other people's lives, it's probably because they don't really truly love themselves. And I think that's the first thing people got to do is love yourselves and then love your neighbors like you love yourself. But if you don't love yourself, how you gonna love somebody else? You know, so I think just have a good heart, be a good human, and you know, praying can go a long way. Even if you don't believe, praying is like a form of you know, people, what is it called when they do they look in the mirror and they'll say I'm a strong confident individual, and they say that over and over again. What is that called? Affirmations, like words of affirmations. I think praying could be like a way of doing that, you know what I mean? Pray into existence, truly believe it, and yeah, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. The so as far as loving yourself, how can someone come to love themselves?
Stop comparing. Stop comparing your life to other people's lives. I think that's a big issue. I think that's part of the reason why suicide rates are so high now with social media. Um, People look at other people's lives and they want that or they wish they can have that. And it's just, I think there's just so much to be grateful for. No matter what, I know I get it. Some people have it harder than others, and everyone's situation is different. But in any situation people are in, like we're living, we're alive, and you can make the best out of the situation if you want to. And I think there's just so much to be grateful for, and truly believe that. And instead of looking at all the negatives all the time, look at the positives. People are so fixed on looking at the worst or like the bad things when there could be 99 things that went good, but the one thing that went bad, that's what they're hyper focused on. And it's like, why don't we put that same kind of hyper focus into the good things, and if something bad happens, just, brush it away, change it, and then continue to look at the good. Because I feel like if we could focus on the good, we'd be a lot happier. But it's so easy to look at the bad, especially with social media, especially with what's been going on with this world and the Epstein files and everything and all this social media stuff. It's like fear mongering. People are getting scared or nervous, and it's just a lot of negative energy. And I tend to try to focus more on the good energy. And I thank God every single day for all the blessings that came across my life and everything that I was able to accomplish. I and my family and my wife, everything that's happened to me, I always try to just focus on the good instead of the bad. Because there's bad things that happen, but I don't want to think about that. I want to think about the good things that happen. And
So if I'm hearing you correctly, part of it is comparison. Comparison is the thief of joy, right? So we don't compare yourself to other people.
yeah,
And then number two is be grateful for what you have. This goes back to the adage, what you focus on is what you feel. Like if you feel grateful about things, you'll attract abundance into your life. And then focus, whether it's affirmations or prayer, you focus on the positive. This is kind of what you're saying.
yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Got it.
It might not sound as good as you say it, but
Oh, sounds great, man. I'm just trying to make sure I understand what you're saying. For the longest time, I never loved myself. And this is, I'm 54 now. It took me forever. And what it was, the turning point was, oh, I'm a divine child of God. God loves me. Who am I not to love myself?
Oh, okay, yeah, exactly.
And because like my biological father left when I was on the way, and I always felt like, oh, I'm not worthy of love. And I did all these things to try to prove that I'm worthy and all this. But we're all worthy of love, and because we're all divine children of God.
Exactly.
And speaking of children, you have a small child, yes?
Yes. That's probably one of my greatest gifts in my life. I got a little boy. His name's Ezra. We kept it biblical. And we had a couple of names in mind, but we waited till he was born so we can see his face and then kind of give him the name that we think he looks most like. And he's a blessing. Just like and I never thought I can love something so much. You know what I mean? And
yes,
but I love myself. But man, the love I have for my kid, it gives me purpose. It gives me purpose for sure. It makes me want to work harder. It makes me want to be a better person. And so does God. But it changes everything. But I think for a lot of people, kids can be hard if you're not ready and if you don't want a kid and you have a kid. I can see how stressful and how hard that can be for people. But thankfully, at the time, we wanted to have a kid. And then, so now everything is, we love it. We love everything about being parents,
Yeah, kids are the best, man. So tell me, how did you decide on the name Ezra?
I wanted to name him Leonidas.
You got outvoted.
My wife has is funny story. So I wanted to name my son Christos because my dad's name's Christos, and it's just to follow the Greek tradition. And she was okay with that. But if we had a daughter, we would have to name her Athena. That's my mom's name. My wife doesn't like the name Athena because her mom's her mom's was married with the guy, her brother's dad. Anyway, they left each other, and his new wife's named Athena, and they don't really like her, so it just didn't work out. So because we can't do Athena, we said I'm not gonna do Christos either. So we just popped up. She would just tell me a bunch of names, and if I like it, she'll write it down. If I don't like it, she won't write it down. And we dwindled it down to 3 names: Zion, Ezra, and Noah. And we were set with Zion. And then but like that was like the number one. But when we had him, when we looked at him, he didn't look like a Zion. He looked like a Ezra. And that's how we picked the name.
Okay, but all biblical names.
Yeah, yeah. We wanted to go something biblical since we were so like into the Bible, and there's so many good names. And then which reminds me, I still have to read Ezra. And I read like the first or second one, but we're kind of going in this order that we're reading. So yeah, and I do need to do that. But I know it means helper, like a little helper, and he's already trying to be a helper. He's so kind with sharing, and yeah, it's kind of fits.
Nice, man. Nice. Yeah, kids are the best, man. Yeah, if you want them and you plan for them, like you're talking about, it's just the greatest thing ever. It's the greatest, man. Like there's nothing even close.
And I want to start trying already for another, but my wife wants to wait till May to start trying because she doesn't want a baby in November, December, and yeah, there's a whole, Sometimes she likes to do things, but also she has a bachelorette party to go to pretty soon. Close friends, so she wants to be there for that, and yeah, she wants to wait until May to start trying. So that's our timeline.
Okay, got it, man. Well, if it's God's will, it will certainly happen.
Exactly.
So tell me about, do you have any habits, like for instance, like you pray at certain times, or you read your Bible at certain times, or anything like that?
Yeah, we pray before every meal. We pray at night sometimes when we wake up to get going with the day, when our schedules match up. Right now my schedule has been kind of chaotic. But whenever we both get time in the morning before she starts work, we'll sit down and read, a chapter or 2, maybe 3, of the Bible of our order that we're going in. Right now we're on Proverbs, and yeah, I mean, and then on Sundays we give time to the Lord. We don't go to church no more because it's hard with the kid. So we watch it on our TV. You can watch it live on your TV. So we'll watch it, and then yeah, and sometimes we'll talk about it. We'll have little discussions, but the main habits is praying before every meal and before bed together. And then when we wake up to get started with our day, a lot of times we'll pray, and especially if like she has a big meeting coming up or something, and we have something big coming up, we'll pray and, talk about it. And then, yeah. And then we always try to we're like our family, some like her sister and close friends who aren't really have a relationship with God. We'll always try to put it in there, but not we don't like to push, but we'll always just mention like you should try praying, or like we'll just mention it, or like you should come to church with us one day. Here and there though, we don't try to push it too hard, but yeah, we always try to get people on board, you know what I mean?
That's all, that's always something that can be a touchy subject, right? Because it's my son came in the other day. And I'm reading my Bible. I read my Bible every morning. He goes, "All right, Jesus freak." he jokes around with me, and I don't push it on him. What I try to do is I try to be the light, so they see my example, and then hopefully they'll follow in those footsteps. And like when I meet people, I try not to like beat them over the head with it, just because like I was like beat over the head with it when I was a kid, and it pushed me away. So I don't want to be the guy that like pushes anybody away. Yeah.
It's weird because I thought the same thing when people were too pushy with it. It kind of makes you like want to go away from it even more, you know.
Right.
And but it's in the Bible. It talks so much about getting your disciples and spreading the word about it, and it just. But it's hard because I don't want to be too pushy. But so I do mention it. I do tell people about it, but I definitely don't try to push it on people.
Right.
That's how they'll find it on their own time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, other people certainly know you're a man of faith because I heard it from multiple people.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
why
I used to go to the Bible study they have at Killcliff.
Oh, okay.
They have a Bible study every Monday. There was one today actually, but now that I have babysitting duties, it's a little different.
Yeah. And are you still training there at Killcliff?
Here and there, not as often. Since I'm not fighting anymore, I don't really want to put my body through that intensity of work. I do jujitsu there here and there on Fridays, but I still train a lot. But I train more with like the amateurs and the beginning up and coming pros at Combat Club because I coach there. So I train with them. It's for me, it's like a lot lower level. I'm like not as intense. I don't have to go as hard. I don't have to compete as much. And yeah, so I still train all the time. I still work out, but not as intensely as I did because my body it has some miles on it.
Right. And that's got to be a difficult transition. I would assume. Is that?
It is for sure because I mean I still get the itch sometimes of like thinking about doing another one, but I don't want to put my body through it if the money is not going to be there now. So I was before it was the love for the sport and trying to climb to the top, and now that I had my run, um, I don't really have that itch to like climb anymore. So if I did do it, it would have to be the right kind of price. But I just like to train. Um, the thought of like not having to compete, there is a little bit of relief. Um, and I enjoy like spreading the knowledge to younger generations, the people who are hungry to compete, who are hungry to climb the ladder, and anything I could do to help and give back, I'm happy to do so. And it still gives me like a good sense of purpose. It still gives me the chance to stay in the game, to stay in the sport. And yeah, so like I said, I feel very blessed that I found something that I was able to stick with pretty much my whole life. Yeah, so and what's crazy is I did try to like for law enforcement because I'm thinking about my kid in the pension and I feel like it would translate well. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. And I think in a way it could have been a sign from God telling me that like this is probably a better path for you. I'm a lot happier when I get to coach. The only thing that sucks about it, it does take up quite a bit of time at nights, 3 nights a week. So yeah, but I feel like there's always gonna be sacrifices with work and stuff, and kids and whatnot. But I'm just happy that I'm in a job that I get to do and I love it and it gives me happiness and yeah, I choose that over being in a job you don't like.
Right. And that's a rough gig too, being a cop. So
it is a rough gig. And
man.
yeah, so it's probably for the better, like a blessing in disguise.
Yes.
And yeah, I feel like it was the right choice.
Oh yeah, because I have good friends who are cops, and whenever I hear stories, I'm a lawyer. I used to do criminal defense. I don't do criminal anymore, but handle enough cases to know I'm like that's a tough job. That is a really tough job.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And
my brother-in-law is a cop for Inglewood, back in LA, and one of my other good friends, actually my friend that I told you earlier, who was trying to get me in the flat Earth a while ago. But he's a cop now, and yeah. But I was like, you're crazy, bro. Stop, get this out of here. Once you see it, you can't unsee it, and it's just like, oh, crap. All right.
Hey, whatever brings you to the light, man. Whatever brings you,
Yeah.
Yeah. And there may be somebody listening, at some point that thinks exactly like you do, but maybe they're like struggling with God, and maybe they'll take a look at, Genesis and
Yeah,
some of the
yeah,
things you
yeah.
said, and you know.
Hopefully. Well, if anybody watches this, I would just recommend watching the Level Up documentary, Hibbler Productions. Uh, the, it's a good one.
All right, man. What about so I'm interested too about what do you think what do you think's the difference between, like, there's, fighters that whatever they'll retire and whatever they do okay, and there's some people they just struggle. Why is that? What is that? Tell me.
Um, I mean, that's a good question. It all depends. I think that, like you saying, some fighters do okay. Um, what if you're not making the top 15 in the UFC or have some good contract with the PFL? It's very, very hard to make money in this sport, and I advise anybody who's doing it, and every money you can make. This is what I did. All the money checks I would get from the UFC, most of it, maybe like 75% of it, I would put away and save. And I always had another job to pay my bills, like all my expenses and stuff. I always worked another job. When I'm in fight camp, I'm working a little bit less, but I still work, and so I would try to just pay my expenses with the money I'm making through my job, and then the money I would just put away, so that I can have savings. And then I was able to buy a house, and invest some money, and just try to be smart with my money because I know fighting's not forever. I know that like the money I make, I don't want to just spend it and be back in square one. So
Right.
I think saving your money and trying to invest it smartly is a good thing to do. But also what you do after, it's hard to let go of the competition. It's a very hard thing. It was easier for me because my body was already hurting. I've been in sports my whole life, so like there was a little bit of relief. Like, all right, I don't have to. Camps are tough, but find something that is decent pay and that you like doing. Because the worst thing is going from fighting, having all these high highs and being on top of the world at moments, and then after you get released, you find you get this job that you absolutely hate, and then what that can do mentally is, I mean, I wouldn't even know because I didn't get to do it, but I can imagine, like, I couldn't work a 9 to 5 desk job. I just can't. I know me, and I don't like sitting still too long. And there's something I would not be able to do. That's why if I got any career, it would be like a firefighter or a cop, because at least I can be on my feet and doing things.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I just think they gotta find something that they like doing or at least can tolerate. And anybody that's trying to fight, make sure you save your money. It feels good getting a nice big chunk of change, but then you waste it and then it's like gone. So yeah, I was always smart. I think it's because my mom was always a big saver, and we need money, we need money, we need money, this and that, pay the bills, save, buy a house. So I guess that kind of helped me try to be smart with my money.
That's good. You have mama's influence.
Yeah.
Take that, invest it, put it in the house, put it in something. Huh?
Yeah. I'm trying to, I mean, my wife is a perfect partner. So we work really well together. So yeah, it worked out really good.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And how did y'all meet?
Uh, my her brother was a MMA fighter. We became friends. We grew up in the same city, and so we were friends. But I knew his other sister, my wife's sister, because she used to date one of my best friends back in the day. Because we all lived in the same city, but I never knew Victoria, my wife. So I knew Lauren and I knew John because he fought. So we became friends, and then we started teaching at the same gym. And because we were instructors there, our family can come work out for free. So my sister started coming, his sister started coming, and then his sister, Victor, my wife, she started taking my CrossFit class. I used to teach CrossFit,
Okay.
and That's kind of how I met her, and I developed a crush. But she had another boyfriend, her high school sweetheart she was with at the time. But we started getting to know each other, and it just sparked like that. And then next thing you know, she was single. I asked her on a date, and yeah, ever since then, yeah, we've been together 12 years now, and we've been married for 5 years.
Got it. Oh, that's great, man. Good for you. And I thought I heard a baby for a second. Is your son up?
Oh no, 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 we're good. He's sleeping right now, so he should be
He's
asleep.
sleeping. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's
Great,
nap
man.
time.
You gotta enjoy that time when they're when they are sleeping, right? What advice would you give someone? Let's just say they're struggling. They're struggling with the finding a higher power. What would you tell them?
Like struggling fighting like a god, like God,
Right.
higher power. Um, I mean, are they open minded to like want to learn, or is just somebody who's struggling?
Well, yeah, and that's one of the keys, right? They have to be open minded,
Yeah, I think
right?
finding a church, even if you don't believe, surround yourself with people who do believe, because I would say most people who believe and who are religious and into Christ, I can't say all, but most people are good people, kind people, and just surrounding yourself with better people and seeing how they work. Joining a group, whether it's a Bible study or a church events or something like that. Like I said, you don't have to believe, but just surround yourself with good people can do a lot. And see how it affected their lives, how it changed their lives. I think that's good. I think praying's really good. I have a friend, this girl, she's not really a believer, but she says she likes to pray sometimes. It gives her some sort of fulfillment, so it works for her. So I mean, yeah, I just think, yeah, I think surround yourself, because it's hard if you just hang out with a lot of people who don't believe. It's gonna be hard to make that jump. But I say just try something new. I think everyone should try something new at times. It's good putting
Right.
yourself into a position where, because a lot of people don't like change. Change is hard, but I like it. I like to always challenge myself and put myself in new situations.
Have you always liked that change?
I mean, I know I don't like change. I adapt, and but at the end of the day, I'm always happy with the results. But yes, change, like the thought of change is scary. It's hard. It's like you always want to be comfortable doing what you know. But I mean, hey, me and my wife up and moved to Florida, all the way across the country. I thought I was never going to leave California, and that was a big change. And the first 2 years were hard, but now I love it more than anything. So I think putting yourselves in those positions, it's good for the mind, and and it's good to just keep learning. Learn as much as you can, and put yourself in positions that you normally wouldn't put yourself in.
Got it. So part of what I'm hearing you say is be open minded.
Yes.
Try out a church. Maybe look at the results that people are having, and see if that's for you. Be open to change, because
Yes.
as humans we fear change. We want kind of the same old same old. There's that phrase, on the other side of fear is everything that you want.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. 100%. And it's hard to say. I would say give the Bible a chance, but I mean the Bible can be very hard for people. It was hard for me. Even when I did believe, it's still hard for me. It's hard. A lot of it's hard to understand too. That's why I like reading in groups, because we can talk about it. Um, but yeah, yeah. I mean, but I think the Bible is very interesting. It's hard to understand at times.
Right.
Um,
And I agree, because it's like a big thick book. And man, the first time I started in on Genesis, and by the time I got to Exodus, I'm like, I'm just lost here. And these people are lost in the wilderness. I'm lost reading this. And now what has worked for me is just the Gospels. Matthew, Mark, Luke,
Yeah,
John.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then in particular, I would say John chapter 3. This is on salvation, like how to be saved. And then Matthew chapter 5 through 7, which is the Sermon on the Mount. I mean, all in all, that's probably, 6 pages, 7 pages, I'm guessing.
That's a good way to start. That's how my friends told me to start too, actually.
Oh, yeah. Who told you?
My friend Ali, the guy that's a cop that I told you about,
Uh huh.
uh, I always knew he was he got into like he found God probably a year or two before like I did my whole big transition, and he's been trying to get me on it and this and that, and I told him I was always open to it. I even went to church with him, even though I wasn't a big believer. I tried it out. Like I said, like I was always down. I was like, I like good vibes, good messages, and good people. I'll go to church with you. You know, I went to church with him, but he said then I told him one day I wanted to start reading the Bible, and he told me to start with John. He's like, start with John, because I tried, like I said, to start from Genesis, and it was very weird. But now I do like Genesis, and I like the Old Testament too, even though it's hard to understand at times. I feel like there's a lot of interesting facts, but yeah, he told me to start with John and the New Testament.
That dude, I love this guy already. I've never met him. Because John it's my favorite gospel out of all of them because a couple reasons. Number one, it's the most mystical of all the gospels. Number two, John was he was the most beloved disciple. Like when they're at the Last Supper, he's on Jesus's breast, like he's hanging out with them. And for me, he talks about things in the book of John that it's nowhere else in the Bible. Like John 3, verse 16, arguably the most important
Yeah,
verse
yeah,
in the whole
John
Bible,
15.
right? This is the only place that says that, where he
Which
has the
well, yeah,
conversation with Nicodemus. How can a man be saved? He must be born of water and of the Spirit. For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have eternal life. What a great place to start, man! I love your friend already. I haven't met him, but
yeah, yeah, yeah. He's cool. Yeah, his name's Ali. He's actually I forget his race. Ali Nazari. He's it's some type of Indian, but I think his parents are Muslim, but he's a big Christian. He's a big Christian, very Americanized Christian, and he's one of my close friends.
nice, man, nice. And what do you think about as far as like close friends? Do you think it's important to have like people who are like-minded like you, or is it not as important? What are your thoughts on that?
Um, I mean, I think having yeah, I don't know. I think it's good to. Personally, I think it's the best to have friends who are um like-minded and open-minded, and I've had friends who are very closed-minded and only thought one way was the right way, and we're not really the closest of friends anymore. but I think having friends who are in like religious or like Christian or into the Bible, I think those are kind of some of the best friends you can have. Whether you believe or not believe, they're always going to be loyal and good people, and they're always kind, and uh, I think you can learn a lot from them. Not just having like you don't have to be religious and have to be into it all that, but I think having those types of friends are some of the best friends you can have.
Got it. Got it. Um, to switch gears for just a second, if someone they want to be a UFC fighter, what kind of advice would you give them?
Don't do it.
Choose something else. Don't get punched in
Yeah.
the head for a living.
No. The best advice I would give somebody trying to fight is you got to give it all. You got to give it everything you have. Don't skip any days, like, unless you need a rest day, but train hard. Don't mess around. You can't have like one foot in and one foot out the door. Like, oh, I'm training, hoping, hoping to get to UFC, but thinking they're going to get there by just training here and there. No, you have to dedicate your life to it. It takes everything. It's a full-time job. You wake up, you train, you got to eat well, hydrate good, be disciplined. Um, it's a lot. You can't be out there. I was 20 years old when I had my first fight. I would go to parties with some friends and everyone's drinking, having a good time, and I'm over there on the vegetable table, forget eating carrot sticks. There's a lot of
Carrots
sacrifice.
and celery with no sour cream or dip.
Yeah, and then you're getting made fun of by all the friends there, like, oh, look at this idiot eating carrot sticks. You get made fun of this and that, and then even though I can kick all their butt, but I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, I just you have to be okay with making sacrifices. You can't be like, oh, I'll be okay, I'll recover. You might get away with some stuff, but like it can't. The more you mess up, the harder it's gonna be, and yeah, it takes a lot, and it takes a lot for a possibility of making money. Because like I said, there's a lot of great fighters out there, and only a small percentage of them can make good money in this sport. So yeah,
Right.
yeah, it would take everything you got, and yeah,
Give it 100%. Got to be completely disciplined, dedicated to it. And if you're not the top 1%, like you're not gonna
yeah,
you're not gonna make any money.
you have to do it. Well, you have to be training with people who don't want to train. You have to learn to wake up early. You have to. There's a lot of things you. Like I said, it's a rough sport. It's probably one of the hardest sports for the least amount of money possible.
Right. Yeah. If you look at just about any other professional sport, you don't have to be in the top 1% to make a ton of money.
No, exactly. Yeah, in UFC, you have to be like top 15 to make some real money. You have to break that top 15 number to make some real money.
Right. Right. And even after you break it, it's like I'm sure like after you pay for, your training and your meals and the everything,
Yeah,
it just like
listen, I had 14 fights with the UFC. I had a chance to get the top 15, but I didn't make it. I lost that fight. I got 2 performance bonuses, and I was able to be smart with my money, but I still got to work a lot in order to pay bills. You know what I mean? I'm still working. I'm still hustling. Crazy schedule just so I can afford the bills that I have. And yeah, I mean, it worked while I was fighting, but yeah, you always got to think about after your fight. You know what I mean? You can't fight forever.
right.
And if you're not making top 5 in order if you want to like fight and that's all you want to do, because then once you're top 5, you might be making enough money where you can put some away and live off of it. But yeah. Even guys in the top 15 freaking end up going broke at some point.
Right.
So yeah, it's not like Mayweather making 100 million a fight and then you're good for life. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah. And when you guys came from California here to Florida, was that to join like Kill Cliff or one of these
No,
type of mega
actually,
gyms or no?
I moved for my wife.
Oh, okay.
I was in a good spot in California, but I finally saved up enough money to put a down payment on a place. But all we can afford in California is a condo, and they're expensive there. And she got offered for her job because my wife's in medical device sales, and she did really good her first year. She's only working a year, but they really liked her. They don't have a team out here in the Southeast, like North Carolina, Virginia, and over here in the Southeast. So they asked her if she'd be willing to move to Florida. At first I said no, but then I was thinking about it, and then I looked at some property prices, and for the same price as a condo, I was able to get a 3-bedroom house with a big backyard and a pool. All right. And that's what we got. So I saw the property prices. We made a pros and cons list. And again, we were like, the pros outweighed the cons. The only thing with the cons was like friends and family, and me not having any steady income right away, because I would have to start all over pretty much with my clients and teaching stuff. But I was in a good point with UFC at that point, so it was okay. Um, but it would really let her take off in her career. So for me, it was mainly the property prices. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that
so
was before the big run up,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, exactly. And then
Yeah.
I found out there's some good gyms out here, and uh, you know, at the time I wasn't really into being into my walk with Christ. Sorry, I don't know why maybe I hate this. My phone's connected to my laptop and it gets text messages, and I don't know how to put it on silent. But anyway,
That's all right, man.
I wasn't walking with God yet at that point, but now that I look back, I think it was you know, God's will, because it was the best decision we made. Um, and yeah, I moved here for my wife, but I'm happy I did it. I'm happy. It does suck not being around friends and family all the time, but we made new friends out here, so mainly just family.
Right. But it sounds like, if I'm hearing you right, you're saying, this was God's plan for you to move to Florida anyway, and now you can kind of see that, you can kind of zoom out after, being here for a
Yeah,
little bit and see that this was his plan
absolutely.
for you.
Absolutely. I mean, I got a really cool
Yeah.
story. This is probably going to go off topic a little bit, but one of my
That's
biggest
it.
things that happened to me, well, because when I moved to Florida is when I found the friend who sent me the documentary, who got me to start to believe and stuff like that.
He sent you down the conspiracy theorist
Yeah,
rabbit
yeah,
holes.
yeah, yeah. So, um, anyway, I was training. I was scheduled to fight Saint Benin, um, and I was supposed to go to Paris and fight, and I ended up like cutting my pinky on a porcelain toilet, a broken porcelain toilet, and I cut two tendons in my pinky, and like blood was squirting out. I had to pull out of the fight, and you have all this like, why God, why did this happen to me? Like I was devastated. Um, but long story short, I um I was a big right hand kind of guy fighting. And when I hurt my right hand, I would show up to the gym and I would just work in my left, work in my left, work in my left on my left hooks. And I would start sparring. But I would have a tennis ball and I would wrap my hand, but I wouldn't punch with my hand. I would just use it to block. And I'm only using my left hand in my kicks. And I'm training that way for a while. And my left hook got really good. Next thing you know, and at the time, um, I wasn't doing good, the best. Like, fine. I just put a lot in the house. We had our wedding. Um, I when I first moved here, I had no work, so I was using money. So financially, it was dwindling low. So I was getting nervous. Anyway, I get a new fight booked, and I get a really cool left hook knockout, and I get the bonus. And like, if that wasn't like God talking to me, I don't know what was.
Yeah.
Because the fight that I got to pull out of, it was against a very top guy. He wasn't known at the time, but right now he's like ranked number 5 in the world or something like that. He's near the top. And well, I don't know what God was trying to do, but he thought that fight wasn't the fight to take at the time. How to get out, how to get out of that fight, and then I picked the better fight, and I had time to work on my left hook, and then I go and get a left hook knockout. It was just like the way everything worked out, and then it was just perfect. And he knew what I needed at the time, and he answered.
Right. Sometimes, yeah, we don't know what God's plan is for us. And it's easy to say, oh, why me? Oh, like you messed up your tendons on your pinky. Oh, how could this be? Oh my gosh, how am I going to make money? And then, God's got a better plan for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's one of my best examples, because I try to tell people all the time. Right now, it feels like everything's against you, but there's something better coming in the future. This is part of that path. You know what I mean? So
Right.
just have faith, trust in the plan. That's the biggest thing. And I think one of the hardest things is to actually trust in the plan, Like I wanted to have more fights in the UFC. I wanted to do my retirement fight, but I truly believe that God has a plan for me. Right now, that plan is coaching and helping the young generation. And what's crazy is I always had in my head that I wanted to retire when I was 35, and that's exactly when I retired. But I kept telling myself as I got closer, like I'm gonna keep fighting as long as the money's good. But I got cut when I was about 35, and then yeah, that's when I was able to live my wishes and retire because I didn't want to do it for. I don't want to beat my body up for that long, but I would have if the money was so good, you know. But since I got cut, I was happy to let go of it, and happy that I can be there for my kid, and I don't have to beat my body up anymore. I can save the reserves I have for my child and help him,
Right.
and yeah,
Well, that's good. And have that energy. Be there for your kid and maybe your future kids
yes, exactly.
as well. Yeah, yeah. I was talking to a friend of mine. He's a former UFC fighter, and he just stopped after, and he was like on a win streak. He just like, oh, it's just not for me anymore. God's got other plans for me.
Oh,
Oh,
wow, wow, wow,
okay.
wow.
So you never know, man. You never know.
You don't know
Uh,
till you know, and then if God speaks to you, you gotta listen to your heart.
right. And you mentioned something I think is super important, and that is trust.
Trust.
Trust the plan, right? Because what I want to do sometimes is I want to take my will.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Gray wants to do things Gray's way. So I want to take my will back instead of trusting God that everything that happens, this is exactly as it should be. And to accept that, as it is, and trust that He has a better plan. This is the key. Trust, you mentioned.
Always a better plan. Yes, trust in a plan. Like I said, it was hard for me in the beginning, but the more that I've seen it work for me, the easier it's become.
Right. And I know if people want to get in touch, if they want to train with you, they can come down to Combat Club in Lantana, Florida, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Combat Club in Lantana. You guys are looking to train or not even fight, just learning how to fight or learning, getting a good workout. Combat Club. We have a lot of students who don't have, they don't want to fight. They just want to learn, and then some of them end up fighting after they learn a little bit. But yeah, we have a nice kickboxing program, a good jiu-jitsu program, and now we have a gi jiu-jitsu program with Tubby and Alec. And yeah, there's this kid Brady here at Combat Club. He came. I thought this kid's never gonna be a fighter. He was so fragile. Like as soon as the submission touches his neck, he's tapping. His striking was very goofy, but he's left-handed. He's a southpaw, but he stuck with it every single day. Like he came with his friend. His friend was just beating him up bad, right? Fast forward, he's getting a lot better. I'm still a little iffy like on his mentality, but his technique has been getting a lot better. But I've been telling him like you gotta stop backing up so much. You gotta fight. You gotta just like you're gonna have to learn how to take hits a little bit. He just did a kickboxing tournament. He got first place. Yeah, I
Nice.
was I was blown away. He exceeded my expectations, and it's just so cool to see when you have a student, especially when you're like unsure about how he's gonna, because like it's easy to learn technique, but going out there and actually do it is a whole different level, and it really teaches you about yourself going in there, stepping into battle. So um. I learned a lot about him watching him fight, and I was very impressed. And he's on top of the world. And yeah, so there's guys that I thought were never gonna fight that are out there fighting, doing well. So you guys want to come out and train? Come by Combat Club. You guys will like it.
And it sounds like it's very rewarding for you.
Very rewarding.
Where you see these kids come in, maybe they have no confidence, or they're just shy or goofy or
Yeah.
whatever, and you see this transformation in them. Man, that's got to be amazing feeling.
It's awesome. It's almost just as good as winning a fight for yourself. You know what I mean? It just, like I said, I found new purpose, and then these kind of things is the new enjoyments I get, and Right now with our actual MMA team, because the fight that he did was just a Pride Muay Thai thing. You wear headgear, it's like a smoker. They're not really like sanctioned fights, but we have an actual amateur and pro fight team. And I think we won our last 15 fights in a row. We haven't lost in 15 fights. I just cornered some guys this past weekend. 2 first round finishes, first round rear naked chokes.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's just it's very, very rewarding, and there's so much more to go. You know, I feel like they're just starting. You're like 3-0, 2-0. The guys are just starting, so I feel like we're in it for the long run, and a lot of them on the team are all followers of Christ. So it's really cool. I get along with a lot of people there. We get to relate a lot about God, and it's really cool spot.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, certainly for MMA in Palm Beach County. I mean, Combat Club's got to be one of the biggest. I don't know how many members y'all got, but it's got, it's decent size too, right? But they're learning all this. This was your move, man. It's a rear naked choke, the overhand right, and the knee up the middle. Those are your those are your 3 weapons, right?
And now I got a left hook.
Oh, now you got a left hook, right? Because was it Benoit? I don't even know how to say that guy's name. Saint Denis.
Yeah, Saint Denis.
Saint Denis. Yeah. Didn't work out there, but it worked out.
Yes,
because you got the left hook.
The bigger picture is better.
Right. Oh man, what a pleasure talking with you, brother Christos.
No worries. Thanks for having me on, Gray. I appreciate it.
Man, so if anybody wants to hook up with you, like on Instagram or something, what is your handle there?
My first initial C, then my last name Giagos. Giagos _UFC. So Giagos _UFC. I'm on Instagram. I don't really use any other social media. I have a Facebook, but I don't use it, so there's no reason to add me. I'm just on Instagram. I like having one outlet, you know what I mean, to look at. And that's pretty much all I really use. Yeah, I don't want to be on all these different social medias all the time and taking time away from regular life, So yeah.
And my son's like, Dad, Facebook's for old farts like you. Nobody uses Facebook, Dad.
Yeah, well, they do. I still get a lot of notifications, but like,
oh yeah,
I don't really check them or respond or anything like that. Yeah, I don't even know why I have it, but yeah. For all my pictures and stuff from the past, probably.
They still got your pictures on there, and that's why. I got you. Man, great talking with you, brother Christos. God bless you, man. God loves you, and so do I.
Thank you so much. Have a good one, and hope to talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.